Hola, bom dia. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. How are you today? It's Wednesday, folks. Oh, look at this. Hank Stelica's excited already from California. Let's do this, people. Light them up. Wow, Hank, what have you had in your coffee this morning? Hola, bon dia, friends from California, from Hank there. So get your greetings in. Where are you listening in the world this morning? It is Wednesday, of course, here on Good Morning Portugal, where it is that very popular hashtag. Maybe we'll get it trending this morning. Hashtag AAAP. Ask anything about Portugal Day. And this morning, we have a special guest who's going to be joining me on the screen in just a moment. For the rest of the show, yes, ask anything about Portugal. It's proving very popular. So whether you're already here and there's something you need a question that needs answering, we can do that from the hive mind that is the Good Morning Portugal show. Or if you're thinking about coming here and there's just something you want to know, do ask that of the community here as well. And we have a question. Louise has sent in a question via WhatsApp, which is a really good idea. And we'll play that question as well as soon as we have finished talking to Paul, who's popped in to see us from Fiduciary Wealth Management, or simply Fiduciary Wealth. How are you this morning, Paul? Correa.
Well, thank you. Bon dia, Carl.
Bon dia to you. And I think from your name, Paul Correa, there is a bit of Portuguese extraction there, isn't there, Paul?
Absolutely. There's Portuguese blood running through my veins.
How lovely. How lovely. And you speak to us from Gibraltar this morning. How's life in Gibraltar?
Life is pretty grim as it is everywhere else in the world. So it's, the weather is not very favorable. And of course, everyone is in some kind of a lockdown. So, it is what it is. And we just have to get through it the best we can.
Absolutely. As somebody was saying yesterday, chin up, chest out, and let's do this. So you're here as a little bit of a taster this morning of what's to come tomorrow night. We are doing a webinar where we're looking at how you can help people with their wealth management if they're thinking about retiring in Portugal. Could you tell us, first of all, a little bit about Fiduciary Wealth? What sort of things do you in your company do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're a boutique wealth management practice, which was established in 2007, and it's dedicated to helping British and English-speaking expatriates and their families with their financial goals of building, protecting, and managing their wealth. There's three types of clients that we serve. We've got the retirees that live, whether it's British shores or somewhere in Europe or South Africa. They come to Portugal looking for warmer climes and a better quality of life. So we either, working to dealing with retirement planning and financial planning, tax planning, and wealth management needs. We deal with entrepreneurs and provide a whole range of financial services to them, including tax planning. And normally it involves, business owners with business interests in more than one country where residency, domicile, and location of wealth may cause some cross-border conflicts. And then thirdly, we deal with internationally mobile senior executives, mainly in Africa. So we trip into West Africa, Nigeria and Ghana in particular. And we're talking about people who are building up and amassing a considerable amount of wealth during their working lives. And they need to structure their financial affairs as tax efficiently as possible, and they need their assets to be held in a financial center which is safe and secure. And clearly they're out in the sticks and they have no time to dedicate to managing their wealth. So they need a trusted advisor by their side that can provide that kind of ongoing advice. So how are we different to the competition? I think experts are all the same, in my personal opinion. They are looking for a trusted advisor by their side who understands and looks after their needs on a continuous basis, rather than delivering what is on offer And for us, as a business, it's all about developing learning relationships with the clients, which facilitate a kind of unbiased expert advice that delivers the desired outcomes within the exact context that those clients seek. So we're always looking to develop deeper relationships and engage in a much broader dialogue to deliver more customized solutions through a single point of contact.
Got it.
So that is how we are markedly different to our competitors. And I think for us and equally for the clients, I think what they're after, with so much robo-advice and the latest tech, but actually, if I look at the profile of our clients who are mainly Generation X as opposed to Generation Y and Z, they are looking for old-fashioned ethical advice, which puts the client's long-term interests ahead of short-term profit maximization. So I think that's where we are uniquely different to our competitors. And our clients are dispersed around the globe, but we focus mainly in the Iberian Peninsula. So that's Gibraltar, Spain, and Portugal. The UK market, where we have a presence. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Africa, which is mainly West Africa, but we're intending to maybe build out from West Africa because there's pockets within Africa, a lot of expats there who are in dire need of quality professional advice.
And maybe, so some of those are moving, aren't they, at the moment, especially in Portugal.
Sorry?
We have people in Africa looking to return to Portugal as well as a growing trend.
Absolutely. I mean, what we find in particular is there's a lot of South Africans. I mean, we serve a lot of South African executives in Nigeria and Ghana, and they all tend to hold positions as, COOs. I mean, South Africans you find a lot of accountants, professional accountants in South Africa, and they are working in Nigeria and Ghana right across Africa. And more often than not, the conversation centers around, can we, once we retire, can we move to Portugal? Portugal seems to be attracting a lot of South Africans. And a lot of inquiries which haven't progressed, but we are engaging in discussions with people once they retire. They're not going back to South Africa, and Portugal seems to be the perfect place. Just a bit on our services, if I may.
Of course.
Carl, I think our services I'm not going to cover every single thing we do because we are limited by time, but our core services are retirement planning, financial planning, tax planning, and that includes inheritance tax planning and estate planning. We do wealth management advice and managing investment portfolios. We provide insurance solutions, and then we do a family office offering too. And of course, I've missed out on the relocation advice. So we do global tax residency and citizenship. And then one other thing and then you can ask as many questions. One thing which I'd like to mention in passing before I conclude is that we are a bit of a quirky firm and completely different to your typical wealth management practice for two reasons. One, we are born out of and closely associated to a firm called Isoldes, which is Gibraltar's longest-standing Band 1 law firm, established in 1892. So as you can see, it has a long history in the field of law. And it's quite a large firm, 15 partners, 50, 60 staff, and we are born effectively out of that law practice. So we've got the legal roots. And then secondly, we are, for some unknown reason, we were admitted and we are a member of MGI Worldwide, which is a top 20 ranked global accounting network of audit, tax, accounting and consultancy firms. Now, this professional accounting network was founded by a firm in Weybridge in Surrey called Midgley Snelling, which still exists today. It was founded in 1947, making it the oldest, bizarrely, the oldest global accounting network. I think it's ranked 16th globally. And it mushroomed from Midgley Snelling into the UK and then globally. And today, I'm proud to say that we are 10,000 professionals in 300 locations across 100 countries in 7 continents with revenues fast approaching $1 billion. And yes, it's a bit odd, and I'm extremely proud of the fact that we are the first wealth management company that I know of that has been admitted into a top 20 global accountancy network, given that we're neither accountants nor do we provide any accountancy services. So I find that a bit strange. We came out in I think it's called the Accounting Bulletin in January 2019, because it was quite headline news for a firm that doesn't provide any accountancy to be admitted. So we've got the legal rules and the accountancy. And anyway, I'm quirky by nature. The firm is quirky too. Everyone's happy, yeah?
Yes, indeed. And your fan club is here this morning. Gilda is here saying bon dia, Paul. Paul is great, very good professional. And Jenny was saying, "Oh yeah, good to see you, Paul. I think one of your, possibly a friend or client there, Jenny Dumas. Good to see you, Paul." Now, the sense I'm getting, Paul, is that although your boutique is and very personal, you have a connection with a massive network of professionals. So all the backup that could be required is there, and you deal with massive complexity by the sound of it. And we'll go into that detail tomorrow night, won't we?
Sorry, we deal with
complexity. These are very complex matters.
They are very complex in that matter because we've got a new global tax initiative called Common Reporting Standard. More recently, the EU has adopted a new directive which is called DAC6, which has been, adopted by the UK too, but I think watered down somewhat. And Gibraltar has been the same, followed suit. We've adopted it, but in a watered-down version, and it seeks to address, the worst forms of aggressive tax planning. And Common Reporting Standard is all about sharing financial information. So for us, it's not about tax avoidance. It never has been. It's about tax mitigation, and they are very complex issues. And I could see Gilda Pereira. And Gilda we work with closely whenever we have any inquiries for NHR applications, Golden Visa program in Portugal, because she's the go-to expert in these matters. And as you know, she's also a member of, or a part of Expats in Portugal.
Part of our team here, our growing team to help people with their dreams in Portugal. So we will go into that depth, that complexity tomorrow night on the webinar. Make sure you book up for that. If what you're hearing from Paul, you're thinking, yes, that's what I need, come join us tomorrow night where we'll take a deeper dive into all the aspects of this. Paul, thanks for dropping in this morning. Have a great day. I'm sure you've got things to go and do and deal with now.
Thank you, Carl. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to tomorrow.
We will see you then, my friend.
Thank you. I will be shaved and I'll be looking nice and clean. I thought there was just a voice. So, no shave and not properly dressed, but that will change. Tomorrow I'll be more slick.
Well, how lovely to hear that. I can't guarantee that myself, but I appreciate you making the effort. Have a great day.
Same to you. Thank you, Carl. Take care.
Right, there goes Paul, who, as I say, will be going deep into the depths of this wealth planning and pension transfer, all those very complicated things that Paul is an expert on, and his team and the network he's connected to, and some of those questions that were coming in. Sorry, I didn't put Paul's a busy man, as you can see. He's got lots to do, and he will really have his ear tomorrow night from 7:30 on the Portugal Calling webinar. Book that up at expatsportugal.com. Go there and see our upcoming webinars, and you can book. And I think it's of a special interest to the British community within our expats who want to move to Portugal. But all are welcome tomorrow evening from 7:30, and we look forward to joining Paul, or being with Paul tomorrow night to address those questions about wealth management and pension planning and so on, and all those acronyms and abbreviations that you'll have heard to do with pensions as well. We'll be cracking those codes tomorrow evening. So to your greetings and questions this morning, more generally, ask anything about Portugal. Actually, let's play this, because Louise was way ahead of the curve and the crowd this morning. Let's see if we can hear this now.
Bon dia, Carl, and everybody listening to Good Morning Portugal. I hope you're all well. I have a question this morning. I came to Portugal at the end of last year, and once I'd secured my residency, I've come back to the UK to sell my flat. My question is, as my life goes out the front door via eBay sales and Gumtree giveaways, for those of you who have made the move, is there anything you sort of thought, I shouldn't have brought that, I really didn't need to lug that all the way to Portugal? And is there anything that you really regret leaving behind and you wish you had brought with you? Thanks, bye.
Well, isn't that a good way of asking a question? And I should put that on the screen, shouldn't I? For future reference, you can leave a message with us via the WhatsApp number 913-590-303. Not just about asking anything about Portugal as we're doing on a Wednesday. Voice messages of support, love, and encouragement also very welcome. Any complaints, you can do that by email. don't ring up with that stuff. Okay, so let's say hi to a few folks. We've said hello to Hank. Let's do this, people, from Hank over there in North Wales this morning. Hola, bon dia, from yet another beautiful, bright and sunny day in North Wales. Still cold, though. Yep. I imagine it's cold in Moscow as well. Carolyn's here from Moscow. Hello, Hank, says Gilda. Gilda's joined us briefly this morning, of course, from EI Migration Services in Lisbon. As Paul was saying there, yeah, the experts on NHR and visas. And I know a few of you are being helped by Gilda here in this community who are here this morning. From Australia, bon dia. Good morning to you, Mark. Damn, Hank, bon dia from Lisbon, from Anna da Silva. Loving all the comments between you in the across the comments between each other, which is fantastic. If you've got a question that you want to stand out, put question in capital letters before the question, okay? And then I'll be able to pick that out more easily as we get more and more comments coming in. Bon dia from Louise, whose question you heard there. What should she have left at home? And I love that phrase, Louise, that you were saying there. You're seeing your life go out the front door via Gumtree and eBay. What an exciting time for you with that personal restructuring as you make your move to Portugal. But what should she have left there? What does she not need to bring? And what have people regretted not bringing? So the question is asked there, and the answers, please bring them in to the comments along those lines. Question from Hank: is there a wealth tax, and what's the threshold before it kicks in? Yes, sorry, Hank, I should have seen that and asked Paul before he went. But that, again, yeah, join us tomorrow evening, or pop that in the forum. I can't say I've fallen the wrong side of that myself. If you see what I mean. So I don't know the answer to that personally. Others may hear. Victoria's here, Atlanta, Georgia. Good morning to you, Victoria. Bon dia to you, and a bon dia from you. Paul is great, but very good professional. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you for that testimonial there, Gilda. Hi, Paul. If you come to Portugal to retire, ask Mark in Australia, with sufficient income to support yourself and your spouse, but she is still working age, would she be able to run a business if she wants to? I'm certain the answer to that is yes. Mark, if you want to start a business, I don't think you're stopped from doing so. That would be ridiculous, but you're quite right to ask it, because it may be a legal thing. But when you start a business in Portugal, you have to go and, I think they call it, open an activity. And should they find that the activity you're intending to open is not to the liking of the authorities, you'll be told at that point. So that's the thing to do. Open the activity, seek the counsel of a good accountant, and they will help you do that as well. Okay, so of course you can begin that process talking to Gilda about that, and if she can't handle that in-house, she will gate post or signpost that for you. Gate post, that's not a thing, is it? But she will signpost that for you. Peter Bleach, bon dia from a snowy land that prepositions forgot. He's talking about Kent with a veiled insult there. Surely there isn't a completely secure investment at the moment with a housing crash and massive overprinting of fiat currencies, I think, rather than countries there. I would tend to agree with you, Pete. And I don't think... Paul, I don't think any financial advisor is going to be giving financial advice over a program, are they? They're going to be talking to you in principle and telling you about how they approach it, rather than making any predictions or guarantees. I just don't think that's allowed anymore, is it, from financial advisors? So, but you make a good point there. I'm sure, and has there ever been a completely secure investment? I mean, one of the things we've said here on this community is buy land in Portugal, right? Because it's not being made anymore. Land isn't being made anymore. There's a finite amount, but it's a great asset to have. But you're right. I mean, I don't think there are any completely secure investments, but I'm sure some are more secure than others. And being in good financial hands and working with people you trust is a very important relationship to discover and create. I understand you can work with a residence permit. I'm pretty sure that's true, but as I say, you need to open an activity, and you'll find out at that point if that's permissible or not. A language question for native speakers: is there a Portuguese word for a whatchamacallit thinger? Yes. There's a coisa, isn't it? A thing. Portuguese people, please help us with that. But I would go with a coisa for the time being until that's improved upon. Thingy, thingamabob, whatchamacallit. Always very useful in a conversation. Deeple gave me coisinha. Okay, little thing. That's a diminutive, isn't it, of coisa, alguma coisa. Is there anything else? Great question. Thanks for that. But that's a little bit of chat between Hank and Mark there. And Jenny, obviously, knows Paul, and a little kiss for Paul there as well. That's very nice. Jacqueline Branco, bon dia. Good morning to you, Jacqueline Branco. And Hank, a sure thing. I'm planning on starting the process at the end of the year, and we'll be living in Portugal full-time winter 2022. When I say 2022, I'm thinking, wow, that sounds so far in the future when we're in 2022. It's only next year, isn't it? And my relocation expert said my wife can work on that permit. There you go. An answer from the hive mind, from the group and collective intelligence here. Dennis, you told me to come and ask this question on Wednesday instead of Monday. Sorry, Dennis. I hope I didn't sound dismissive or unhelpful. So here it is anyway. Here it is again. Good morning to you, Dennis. What pages do you guys recommend when it comes to finding land for sale in Portugal? Most I've been able to find is around Castelo Branco. I checked your own site, but the listings there are very minimal as well. Yeah, it's true. We have some properties, and we, by all means, add to those properties at expatsportugal.com on our property listings. And land for sale. Okay. Have you spoken, Dennis, to our partners, Peter and Alice, at the Portugal company? You're going to get some proper, like Paul was talking about, you're going to get some proper personal bespoke service. Otherwise, you are in the web search situation, aren't you? And, land does pop up as an adjunct, I think, to a lot of the, what's mainly sold on the big Portuguese property websites. You're going to see a lot of high-end luxury homes. You're going to see a lot of apartments. That's what they tend to predominate with. But you will see rentals, and you will see land in there as well. Dennis, also do join the forum. Okay, go to expatsportugal.com/community. And the thing with that is you're gonna what you so often need, I think, in Portugal, and that's part of the benefit of being here, which you obviously can't be at the moment. But it's about having a mosey about and finding your new Portuguese BFFs who know people who know people. That is so invaluable. And I think the closest you're going to get to that at the moment is on the forum. Get to know people who live here already, and they know people who are, native Portuguese people. And that might be one way of networking and finding out about a land deal somewhere other than Castelo Branco. And I do understand that as well. A lot of people, the blow-ins, the hippies, the off-gridders, do like the land in Castelo Branco. It's very reasonably priced, and there's a particular kind of client, I would say, over that way. Not exclusively by any means, a bit like the Algarve. The stereotype is true to a point, but there's so much more to the Algarve and to Castelo Branco, of course, than the stereotype would have you believe. But I would say that's my best so far. Any other land sale recommendations, please, for Dennis this morning, who very kindly has come back to ask the question on a Wednesday instead of a Monday. So let's see what we can do for him. I hope that is going to help you, Dennis. Bon dia from Susan Renshaw. Good morning to you, Susan. Pete, can I ask Paulie's view on DOT, Cardano and Ripple? They are cryptocurrencies, I believe, all of those, and nickel mining stocks. I think it would have taken a very brave or reckless financial advisor to give an instant opinion on such things, Peter, but I see what you're getting at there. Interesting times in the crypto world, right? Bon dia from Kashkaish, from Anna. Good morning to you, Anna. And Jacqueline, yeah, good morning, Paul, from Jacqueline, who I think knows Paul as well by the look of it, and is joining us tomorrow evening on the webinar by the sound of it. See you tomorrow, she says. Hank, we'll be a few years behind you. We have my old mum, 88 years old, or bless her. Lots of love to your mum, Mark, to consider for now. Of course you do. Grassa's here, everybody. My landlady, or should I call her the lamb lady? For those of you who don't know, went out after the show yesterday, could hear the sheep. Got 2 sheep now here on the Quinta homestead, and they were quite noisy, and I just thought they were pleased to see me. Second double take, there's a little lamb there. And I think I'd seen it within minutes of it being born. So isn't that lovely, Grassa, that we have that little lamb here? Such a symbol of purity, innocence, and delight to see a little lamb gambling around, born into the mud and the rain of Portugal at the moment. A delightful little creature. So congratulations, Dona Grassa, Avo Grassa, on the birth of the new lamb here. It's April showers in February for us in Cabanas de Tavira today. That's right. The April rain season does start. Probably towards the end of December, beginning of January, and goes through to April, Paul. Mark, very good. Gives you plenty of time to do all your research, says Hank there. So, yeah, and we've got, I hope, a listener in you, Mark, until 2022. From Harrogate this morning, Paul Richards. Hi from Harrogate. Blue sky, but -4. Whoa, I'll stop complaining. -4. Honestly, I wasn't going to join tomorrow. The word wealth put me off. Laughing emoji. But after listening, I think this could be of interest to me. Absolutely. Pension transfer, that sort of thing. Who knows what we might uncover in the conversation in the long grass and the deep dive of these financial matters tomorrow evening on the webinar with Paul, who was my guest earlier on from Fiduciary Wealth Management. If you want to cut to the chase, actually, and just work with Paul directly, go to our business directory. He's in there, and we have a nice favourable arrangement for our premium members with him. So just you don't have to wait for the webinar. You can go chat to Paul straight away. Tell him who sent you. Neil, good morning to you, Neil. How's it going? How's your February going? Bon dia todos. Lovely to hear from you from the Alentejo. He is Mr. Alentejo. Complaints by email. Oh, it must have got in my spam. Hi, Gilda. Sent you an email. That's Gilda and Hank having a conversation there. Very nice. If you need relocation services, says Hank, Gilda is the person to go to. There you go. A nice little word of mouth recommendation in the comments there. That's weird hearing my message played out. Have we got any answers to the question from Louise via WhatsApp there? What should she have not bothered with and left going out the front door via eBay or Gumtree? And what did you regret not bringing into Portugal? I mean, what I would say about that, Louise, all the consumer goods, it's not like it's 1920 and you're going to, on some voyage to deepest, darkest, wherever, with those, on a cruise liner with those great big trunks that people had, travel chests or whatever they're called. This is 2021, isn't it? And just about any consumer good you would ever want, you'll find in Portugal, if that's the sort of thing you're thinking of. It's probably the foodstuffs, but even then, part of it, I think, is making the transition to the new stuff. And obviously, expats have their little favourites and their comforts. And all of that you can still get, if not in the country, then flown in or shipped in, or soon by drone, I suspect, from Amazon. There might be a special Amazon expats shop, mightn't there, that delivers you Marmite at the press of a button or whatever it is you want. So I'm thinking, what did I regret bringing? A flipping guitar is what Mrs. M says, oh yeah, we must take the guitar. We'll learn to play the guitar now we've got more time on our hands in the new country. Has anyone learnt to play the guitar in this country? We had it restrung by my dear mate Andy before we left, and we looked, if we were ever stopped in our camper van, which is the method of transport by which we came to Portugal, there we were, at the first fill of the camper van. We couldn't see the children, we could only hear them. So we thought it would actually be better to take a few things out. And we dumped a few more bits, like you say, gave them away, sold them, whatever we could do. But always next to the water filter, that was something we brought. Not because we don't trust Portuguese water, but because we are very particular about any tap water anywhere in the world. So the water filter next to the guitar would have absolutely identified us as like, you know, being off an episode of Scooby-Doo, right? These hippies coming over from the UK with their guitar that we know we had. Does anyone want to buy a guitar while I'm here? Although Mrs. M still won't forgive me for doing that. Expat, 50 plus Expat Portugal. Nice to hear a voice to go with the screen name. Yeah, then that's another good reason, right, for sending us a WhatsApp message. And I'm so glad you did that this morning, Louise. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, we can put a voice to the name, can't we, if you do that? Good morning from head gardener, Mr. McGrady. Watch out, Peter Rabbit. Here comes Mr. McGrady. Lee, loving your videos. Thank you. Lee showing us yesterday on our gardening group how to start off garlic. If you didn't manage to get it into the ground at the end of the summer, he's got a little cheat there for you about how to start garlic that you can put into the ground in a few weeks' time after it's sprouted indoors or on your balcony. Peter, what an excellent question. Very much appreciated. And we have the same feeling. Okay, yes. So what should you have unloaded? What should you have kept? What do you regret not bringing with you? Gary, I think, might be answering this question now. Bring as many tea bags as you can, because they are very expensive for normal familiar brands here, if you can find them. Furniture can be quite expensive here. Yes, that's interesting, and also presents its own challenge, doesn't it, if you're going to be bringing all your furniture. Mattresses, they're hideous things to move, aren't they? So it might be, even though furniture is expensive in Portugal, we do have IKEA, of course. And I understand IKEA are quite expensive, aren't they? Mrs. M wants a new bed, she was telling me yesterday. Not because we've broken the last one, you jokers. So I kind of hesitated myself there saying that. But yeah, if you're going to be bringing furniture, that's going to be costly, isn't it? And difficult. So it might be ultimately, even though it's a bit more expensive in Portugal, might be worth paying the extra here. And tea bags. Yes. What is it about tea and tea bags? I've got to say though, Gary, and I ask you this question, have you got used to Lidl's English breakfast tea? It's not as strong, is it? We're talking about how British tea bags, as in the tea that gets sent to Britain by tea-producing countries, is usually the floor sweepings, and we've got used to that. It's powder, isn't it? They call it tea leaves, but it's like tea powder made from the absolute dregs of the tea industry. And the British have got used to it. There's no problem with that. You know, builder's tea, as we call it. But I have got used, and I never thought I would, to drinking Lidl's English breakfast. Not that expensive, is it? And I used to have 2 of the tea bags at first. And then there's the whole thing about UHT milk. You can get fresh milk, you know, what's it called? Homogenized or sterilized milk. But obviously in the summer, that's only going to last about half an hour. So a lot of milk that's sold in Portugal is UHT. And I've got used to it. I've got used to drinking long life milk and weak tea. So it is doable. Thank you, Gary, for that. But yeah, stow tea bags why don't you wrap your valuables in tea bags? There you go. There's a little a tip for you there, a PG tip. Question: where can I find Gilda's email address contact? Thank you. I think I need to refer this person. Who are you? The Rock and Roll Cook. Tell us more, Rock and Roll Cook. That sounds like an interesting YouTube channel. Don't look at it yet, folks. Don't leave. Please don't leave just yet. Look at it after the show. But it sounds like we might need to get the Rock and Roll Cook on the show, right? So I'm going to go to the business directory. This is where you'll find Gilda. And if Gilda's still watching or a member of her team, I'm sure they will get in touch with you as well. I'm just going to pop that in the comments now. Rock and Roll Cook. What's happening there? Should we get you on the show? I like the sound of that. And maybe I should hold on to the guitar I mentioned before. I will. What's she doing there? She's already married. She's not practicing, is she? I will. I do. What's that then? Yes, it is called Inicio de Actividad. There you go. Starting an activity, a business activity. That's what it's called here in Portugal. If you are starting a business, you need to let somebody know. Go to Finances to do that. Penny's here, and thank you for that, Anna. Good morning to you there in Cascais. Bon dia from Brixham. A friend of mine is doing exactly the same. She is ridding herself of everything before making the move back to Portugal to build her house she's finally got planning permission for in the Algarve. What a lovely plan. She's not planning to take anything except her knickers. Now, why would that be? Is that a kind of figure of speech, or is she especially attached to some knickers that have been in the family for generations? Or is it a Marks and Spencer's thing? You know, in all my life, I've never been able to get underwear as good as I can get from Marks and Spencer's, although I don't think that's true anymore. Actually saying that I don't know if the build quality of Marks and Spencer's underwear is what it used to be, but I have been known. I mean, I don't think I've been buying underwear from a company called Mo here. I don't know how much you really want to know about my underwear, but it does split and burst from time to time. And again, it sounds like I'm blowing my own trumpet or whatever, breaking the bed and breaking my underwear. But no, the reason I think it is because the sizing is a little bit different. Where I might be a medium, this is too much information, isn't it? Where I might be a medium in Marks and Spencer's, I think I'm a large in Portugal, is what I'm trying to say. So the pants might have been a bit small, a hasty bend over, as it were, rip, comedy moment, but not that funny, really, when you think about it, when you've got to invest in some more pants. I'm a bit embarrassed. Bon dia from Pavor de Vagim. After torrential rain yesterday, sun and blue skies at present with the prospect of 1 or 2 short showers. A welcome change. Blue skies, yes, those Portuguese blue skies. Don't we love those? I'm seeing that outside the window now for that little lamb that's been born. And there you go, Gilda.Pereira at migrant.pt. There you go, for Rock and Roll Cook. I hope will tell us more about what they do. There you go. There's the email address. Hank's working for you this morning, Gilda. I don't think there's a wealth tax in Portugal, says Joel. You do pay taxes accordingly to your income. Other than that, EVA tax is the same for all, 23%, which is appreciated. Thank you, Joel, for that, stepping in with that. So no massive wealth tax by the sound of it. Hi, everyone, from Welkub. American, retired here, male, 55, with a bit of extra in the middle. Will I be able? Is that wealth or is that body fat? Is that as a BMI reference? Will I be able to find clothing stores? Oh, I see. Winter gear, etc. for us larger guys. That's why you were sharing that information with us. Just waiting to get a D7. Well, cool. With your extra bit in the middle, there are shops that, and they obviously don't advertise the fact, generally speaking. I don't think there's not a high and mighty as there used to be in the UK, as far as I'm aware. But I was talking to Jerry and Astrid, my colleagues at Expats Portugal, about CNA, and whilst that brand has disappeared from a lot of places, certainly in the UK, it used to be a big brand in the 70s and 80s. CNA continues to trade in shopping malls in Portugal, and I believe for the larger framed person, they specialise. Okay, so that could be useful. And if anyone else has got any intel on that for the guys with the extra bit in the middle, where do you go for clothes for larger fellas? That's a great question, Welcome. Thank you for that. From Carolyn, at Carolyn, yes, cozinha is little thingy. That could be useful, could it not? Rita Lusson, bon dia, alegria. Thank you, bon dia, alegria to you as well, Rita. She remembered. Not everybody did this morning, but we do love that. We do like a quick bon dia, alegria in the mornings. My English word for a thingy-me-bob is a doodle. A very versatile word, says Mark, can apply to objects or people. Yes, that doodle over there. Is that dude? It does sound like a longer version or a sort of a rather familiar form of dude, doesn't it? Hey, doodle. Can't think of anything other than coisa. So coisa, cozinha, it would be good. Just pick Portugal and choose a region. What's that then? What's that? That's the answer. What was the question? Fantastic. Loads of questions coming in this morning. This is really rather good. Let's see what we can do to rattle through. I'll do that. Obrigado. Oh, I see. Just pick Portugal and choose a region. That's the land search. Graça, hello from Louise there. Bon dia, alegria. Very good. Rizal is here. I'm hoping. I think we're fixed up, aren't we? Ernest and Rizal next Tuesday talking about your business, your project here in Portugal, your property business on the which proved to be very popular yesterday. The Cockerel's Coop. It's not the Dragon's Den, it's the Cockerel's Coop. They will be sharing their business, what they do with us next Tuesday. Thanks, Joel from Carolyn. Morning from a dry Castanheira de Pera. I'm unofficially retired, thanks to my hardworking other half. Hey, look at that. A kept man. But it will be many years before I'm eligible to receive any pension if they still exist then. This is what a lot of people do believe, isn't it? Is that, some people, can you believe it? It was because Paul was talking about, wasn't he? Gen X, Gen Y, baby boomers, all of these sorts of demographics of people. And the baby boomers, some of them, and their parents, some of those people, listen up, young folks. This is an interesting sociological thing for you. There were people who left school and went into a job, and they stayed in that job for the whole of their life. And to some young people, that is going to sound so bizarre, okay? And not only did they stay in that job for the whole of their life, they were given a pension at full salary from that job for the rest of their life. Now, you might think to yourself, that's an incredible society, and it probably was. But isn't that a bizarre thing to consider now? Pete's saying there, will pensions still exist in the future? Comparing and contrasting that to a job for life with a full salary pension after it, it's unimaginable now, isn't it? Davis Jill, bon dia from snowy East Scotland. Oh, good morning to you as well, Jill, up there in snowy East Scotland. Hope you enjoyed the Belters last Friday. It'd be great to have them back at some point. It was so lovely. Yes, I feel like a grandmother over again. And tell your followers we have land. Yes. Who was that? That was Dennis, wasn't it? Land for sale. Talk to Grasser. Oh, fantastic. Spouse says Ashboza, wife. I'm not sure what you're asking there, Hank, but the word stands up pretty much identically here. And yeah, if you say wife, it's esposa, isn't it? Here in Portugal, at least 2022 and probably beyond. Also, a future attendee at group events. Great, Mark. Looking forward to your company there and in this country. Bon dia. I didn't bring a sofa. Oh, this is what you should and shouldn't bring. Okay, this is Louise's question. This is fantastic. But I bought one out here. I regret that massively, as it was very expensive for a sofa that I considered reasonable quality. I could have picked up a much better quality sofa in the UK for a fraction of the price. Okay, so yeah, Joseph bearing out the cost of furniture. And I think, it might be then worth it for the quality side of it and the cost saving. There are these vans, aren't there? And I know they've had a bit of trouble with Brexit kicking in full time with the shipping of things. But there are vans that go back and forth, and they're the people to speak to, aren't they? To bring a good quality, cheaper or better value sofa possibly from the UK on one of those removal services, also available in our business directory. Did I put that link in? Because it is uniting a lot of comments actually this morning. I'm putting it in again, and have a look at expatsportugal.com business directory, business-directory for shipping companies. Oh, talking of water filters, I just gave away my Berkey. You'll be able to get one by mail order. Thumbs up to Hank from Louise, putting a voice to the name there. Consumer goods are very expensive here, though, says Fiona. A basic washing machine will be upwards of €500. Not so much in the way of second-hand sales here either. Actually, I'm going to play something now. This is another thing that this is a test of more of Pete's fabulous work. I'll be right back. So instead of muting the microphone and you watching me drink water, we'll do it like this now. There you go. That was really good, Pete. So we've played all of your wonderful films and we're getting some great feedback for them. That's really nice little break there where I can take a breath and have a drink of water. Thank you very much. Not long enough to make a cup of tea or for a comfort break. Maybe we need a longer one for those, Pete. Consumer goods. Yes. Okay. That is true. But I mean, there are exceptions to that, Fiona. We bought a little washing machine that I'm sure was only sort of between €200 and €300. It's not a big one, that said, but we wash regular. I say we. Isn't that terrible? Mrs. I do occasionally use the washing machine, although, it looks so complicated. It's best left to the professionals. But we've got this small tub washing machine, which was really good value. And I would recommend a company called JOM, JOM. I think if you go to them and you go to one of their extra saving days or opportunities, you will get some fairly competitively priced consumer goods. But I do take your point, Fiona. And second-hand sales, that's a really fascinating thing here in Portugal. You will see a music centre from 1976 for sale. Plays vinyl, plays cassettes, might even have an 8-track deck in it. They still want €200 for it. It's quite extraordinary. But maybe it's gone into sort of antique and classic and vintage by that point. Second question, is medical insurance required or only encouraged? It's not required, but it is quite a good idea to augment the system, as we found out on our last week's webinar. Lots of really interesting interchanging questions and answers on that in our Ask Our Expats session last Thursday night. And Anna is really up to speed with that sort of thing. So, Coop, you can talk directly to Anna as part of our Ask Our Expats service, and she will take you through all medical insurance matters. I think she's pretty much the top expert, I would say, as far as I'm aware, here in our community. So, Anna, that's if you want to shout out Anna to Welcome, please do that. If you're coming from North America, bring all your electronics with you. You may need at least 30% or more here. It says Ernest, mobile phones extraordinarily expensive by comparison. Okay, but that's a good shout, Ernest. Morning all from a cold and snowy UK from Matthew. Tiller, good morning to you, Matthew. I wouldn't bring furniture, but my exact IKEA bed is double in Lisbon, Portugal. Wow, I didn't realise that. My goodness, that is a big difference, isn't it? But yes, you don't want to be trying to strap that to the roof, do you? Welcome required before you get your residence permit. Oh, and after that, you can access the public system. Okay, but I understand people buy supplemental private insurance as well. That's absolutely right. Fiona Worrell, mattresses are many hundreds of euros too. Okay, yep. I noticed, Carl, that plastic wear is also expensive. What's that? Is that, hey, Debbie, good morning to you. Looking forward to your company with a big announcement on Friday. But plastic wear as in what? Tupperware? Dennis, something else regarding properties. Getting a license for building a house dwelling, how much does that cost? How difficult is it? As I plan on using cob earth bags. Wow! For building my first dwelling. Also, do you know any resources on people that have built using natural materials in Portugal? Again, Dennis, I think it's you that needs to start up the question on that on expatsportugal.com/community and draw out the people that do that. There is a wonderful person on Facebook. I'm in a group or I like a page of somebody who's building with natural materials in Portugal. It's delightful. Take that to the forum, Dennis. I will get back to you on there with all the best resources I have, because I do like a bit of Earthship action myself. Thanks from Welcome to Hank, which is good. Don't forget to bring winter clothing. It does get cold. Now, there's a really good point from Fiona. That's some really good advice, because on the honeymoon side of this, and you're thinking, yes, my new life in Portugal, blue skies, 300 days of sunshine. You're not thinking so much necessarily about the cold and the wet, which we do get occasionally. I may have mentioned it. So yes, pack some layers for sure. Okay, some mufflers and some thermals, those sorts of things. Gilda, thanks Gilda for putting your contact details in. It's a bit like comparing single malt whiskey to teachers on the tea bags front. Yeah, but I can't. I mean, in the way that I've got used to the tea, I don't think I could get used to teachers compared to single malt. But I understand the point you're making there, Gary. How are you? How is Al Viagra this morning, by the way? We are moving to Portugal in a few months, as my parents already live in Lagos. So we need visas. Well, where are you coming from, Christine Tomlinson? I have friends of the Tomlinson clan who are in UK. Are they residents already? That will ease your passage, so to speak. Gilda's the person to speak to. Book up a call with Gilda, and that can be done on Zoom or on the phone, and she will tell you obviously you will need a visa if you are a third country British person now. But if your parents are residents, that might help. That might help you in terms of family reunification. Gilda, the person to... Yeah, there you go. It's the family reunification visa you need. There you go. And Joel underlining that, yes, if you're not an EU resident... Yes, if you are now a British person out of the EU by virtue of Brexit, you will need a visa, either the normal visa for coming in, D7, or family reunification on that technicality to do with your parents in Lagos there. Christine, hope that helps. I see. If she really wanted to leave everything behind, she could always fly commando from Mark in Australia. So yes, truly minimalist would not include knickers, I think is the point being made there. So a small underwear in America is probably double X large in Portugal. I'm not even going to answer that. I don't want to get myself into a massive... and yes, we are going back to the underwear conversation I was having with myself here. Yes, okay, I'm sorry. I apologize now. But like I said, all complaints via email, please. and I think it's probably best not to do WhatsApp messages about underwear. Can you imagine if I'm assessing those and my wife walks into the room? Don't do that. Don't prank me with that. That is like a red rag to a bull, isn't it, for some of the characters here? Gary, Carl's underpants visions of the flag at the end of the Zulu film again. They are a duster now. Waste not, want not. Joel, yes, there are some shops in more populated cities that could. Okay, so we're really resolving things now. It is Ask Anything About Portugal if you've just joined us. Hashtag AAAP. And we're resolving things here wonderfully. Yes, there are some shops in more populated cities that could accommodate you with that extra bit in the middle. But if you can't find there, you can always shop online. There you go, from Joel. Such nostalgia to see CNA in the shopping centres. It is, isn't it? And they haven't really changed their branding, interestingly, as well. For next Tuesday. Obrigada. Absolutely. Rizal, looking forward to that. And to Louise, even Toys R Us are still here, even though they went bankrupt in America, says Joel. Doodah. Oh, that's right. Doodah in Birmingham for a thingy. Pass us the Doodah, will you? OTC medicine, over-the-counter medicine, is much easier to get in the US. Do you think so? Eric, well, you would know. Sorry, I don't mean to question you. You're speaking from personal experience there. So there you go. Over-the-counter medicine is much easier to get in the US, says Eric. Although that's going to be difficult to bring with you, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be awkward sometimes turning up with a case full of meds. You might get pulled to one side. Crest toothpaste, adds Eric, is a US phenomenon. So yes, if you have a favorite toothpaste to start the day, and you know those people who, I mean, our family, we have specialist toothpaste. You know, those natural ones and fluoride free and that sort of stuff. They are available here. There's a great chain called Celeiro in most of the shopping malls. The shopping malls of Portugal are really good for all sorts of reasons. For the hypoglycemic male shopper, they are fantastic. You're never far away from a coffee or a pastry or something really marvellous to eat in the food courts. I do like the food miles here. Thank you for that, Eric, about Crest toothpaste. Bon dia, alegria from Donna. My better half has been in his job here in Terceira for 41 years, and lifetime pension will kick in if he stays 6 more years. It does still exist. That's fantastic. How wonderful. Sorry, Carl, says Joseph, touching on the sofa point earlier, places like DFS will deliver. No need to be sorry, Joseph. This is great information. Will deliver to Portugal too for a smaller fee than it would cost to buy out here. So DFS, sometimes they have a sale on, you know. So you can buy a DFS sofa and you probably get it on the Never Never as well. And even with their delivery cost to Portugal, that's a really good little tip, Joseph. Thank you so much. I have it on good authority that Carl is the whistling artist in that video. I cannot confirm or deny that, Hank. Although I do have to say, I find myself whistling that throughout the day now as well. You can hear the English accent if you listen close enough. That's how you know. Oh, I whistle in an English accent. It's true. What a great filler video. It gives you enough time for a drink and do your hair. It gives me time to do both my hairs. Yes, absolutely, Peter. Is pet on the business directory? I could use a good photographer and videographer. PET. I don't know what PET is, what that means, Ernest, but you're looking for a good photographer and videographer. Take that, Ernest, straight to the forum. expatsportugal.com. You don't have to be a premium member to be in our forum. If that's putting anyone off, you will get like a real bunch. People say bunch a lot, don't they? A bunch of this, bunch of that. You'll get a bunch of discounts and perks if you do become a premium member for €47. However, you can join free of charge and ask questions like, hey, I need a good photographer or videographer on the forum there. Okay, Carl, mobile phones are sold at the same price they're sold in America and the rest of the world. In fact, EU prices tend to be more expensive, but that's due to the brands that don't do exchange rates. Okay, Joel, good point of order there. I think probably why we feel that pain is because often phones are part of a deal. Certainly where I'm from, you know, I've perceived receiving the phone free as part of my deal, which is also a lot more competitive than it has been in Portugal, from my experience. But of course, there's no such thing as a free phone or a free lunch. You're paying for it somewhere, aren't you? But that doesn't happen. You have to buy. I mean, I think some companies let you do an HP hire purchase on their phone deals with a handset here in Portugal, but it's not. There's no free phones as far as I'm aware. It's not a big thing. But thank you for that, Joel. Will do. Muito obrigado. Was that right? Well, we got what you meant there, Dennis. Muito obrigado. We'll do fine. Thank you very much. Yes, get on that forum. We'll see you there, Dennis. A funny question, really. Do they allow fire? Do they? It's essential. It's essential. You don't have to have medical insurance, but you must let off a firework at least once a year. Jani, bon dia alegria. I'm listening in bed with back pain. Oh, so not alegria today. Lots of love to you. Virtual hug from this family to yours and this community to you, Jani. Nib, to buy as private. Okay, yeah. I think we've dealt with the insurance thing for Welcube there, but more comments obviously welcome. This is fantastic. This Wednesdays here on the Good Morning Portugal show are rather awesome. I think we're doing well this morning answering people's questions. I know, Fiona. To be more specific, warm clothes for indoors. There's somebody speaking from experience. Weather looking a bit moody over here, says Gary, looking out the window. And thanks from Welcube to Joel there to Seth. You see him on screen as Seth. His name is Joel, everybody. I see him in the man cave. He's like a caged beast on the screen of the man cave, and you can poke him with a stick by making a comment, and he will roar back at you. He did last Friday. My husband thinks the sea container we will use is endless. Yeah, sort of really long 100-meter one, Shani. And what to do, thinking what goes in and what doesn't go into the container. Fascinating. The way I think, in many ways, it's like go like Penny's friend, just bring your knickers or not, as the case may be, or bring everything. It's once you get into the middle ground and do I take this, do I take that, it's exhausting. And I think it's good to start out with like, okay, I'm going minimalist, and then obviously there are things you won't be able to get rid of, or like, okay, let's find out what it costs to get this whole lot over there. Let's get someone to pack it up. I think the poles of that debate are a good starting point, because once you get in the middle ground of like trying to sort out if you keep that, Christmas present from Auntie Ethel from 1972 because it's got sentimental value, you are there for several weeks in front of all your kit and caboodle there. Okay, where are we now in these wonderful comments from all of you? Yes, warm clothes for indoors. The way I have settled it in my brain, necessary items or needs are very reasonable here, but luxury or wants are well priced accordingly. And that's really good. That is a very good way of putting it succinctly, Eric. Very good indeed. The essentials are reasonable. The luxuries are more expensive. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You can buy some in the Chinese shops. The bigger clothes is this. Oh, fireworks. Quantities aren't regulated, but bear in mind that there are noise regulations for specific times. After 10 p.m., cops will knock at your door. Okay, Ronnie. Hello, Ronnie. Morning, Carl. It's snowing here in Broadhempston. Jack says, hi, hello to you and Jack. How lovely to see your names on the screen, and lovely to receive your greeting from beautiful Broadhempston in rural Devon there. Lots of love to you both. Thank you for tuning in. What's your connection with Portugal, you guys? So true about over-the-counter meds, says Vara Shetty. Even things like rubbing ointment, paracetamol, etc. for muscular pain can only be bought at a pharmacy. Suggest bringing an assortment of general things like that you might need. Okay, don't forget to pack your rubbing ointment, everybody. I say. I think Ernest means Pete, as in me. I make videos now and then. Oh, okay, so it wasn't Pet, it was Pete. Yes, I make videos now and then, as if you didn't know. Okay, Pete meet Ernest, Ernest meet Pete. There you go. You two get a room or an editing suite. Now, for those that bring appliances outside the EU, bear in mind that the power outlets are 250 and that you will need adapters to connect them to the wall. Yes, of course. Not a problem, of course, for that's voltage you're talking about there, isn't it? But the voltage from the UK has never been a problem for us, but I've got quite good at changing plugs now, I have to say. And so, go to the Chinese shop for your new plugs. Adapters are pretty cumbersome, and I think in some ways long term are a bit of a fire and safety risk. So it's worth cutting the plugs off things, or getting a professional to do that and change the plugs to the local ones. Hey, the rock and roll cook has responded. I'm a rock and roll journalist, both broadcast and written, and have been for many years. We have spoken as you generously helped me months ago in obtaining my residency pre-Brexit. Terry! Hello, Terry. How are you? How's it going? So the mystery is revealed. We've pulled the rock and roll cook mask off to reveal Terry beneath there. Hello, Terry. Curious, are toaster ovens and slow cookers common in Portugal or very rare? I have a beautiful stew cooked since yesterday afternoon in a slow cooker that I bought in Lidl. You can pick those up from time to time. Well, all over the place. Jomu, I mentioned before, JOM. Toaster ovens. Yes, I've seen toaster ovens, I think, in there, but not in that American way of, your sort of waffle bagel toaster thing. I've not seen something like that. Okay, I need to come to a close. It's 10 o'clock and someone's poorly. One of the little ones is poorly in the Munson household here. So I've got to get cracking. Got to go out and buy some Lucozade or similar. Should have brought that. I don't think I'm going to find that here. Nearby they common. Usually you buy as a package with the stove. There you go. I see. Good point there. Make sure the insurance is watertight, literally. I'll tell Ernest he's in a meeting now, says Rizel. Thank you. Okay, so we've hooked up Pete with Ernest there. That should be a nice little gig. And Ronnie, we stay in Ferragudo when we can, intending to eventually stay for longer when Rod retires. What lovely news. Rod, Ronnie and Jack, lots of love to you from Portugal this morning, from where you'd like to end up by the sound of it. Always a pleasure. Have a great day, friends. Hank, thank you for your constant contributions, which are very valued and treasured by me, as are all the comments and questions that come in, especially on this Ask Anything About Portugal day, Wednesday, that we do every week. Cheers all later. I have a theme to play on the way out, of course, and I've got to get that banner off the screen before I do that. Yes, tomorrow we are going to talking of tea, we are going to the Azores tomorrow. We are talking to Carmen about the Azores briefly, as well as talking about a seed swapping idea. Never mind your Bitcoin. I reckon that seeds are going to be part of the currency of the future. Yes, food. And she's going to be talking about her experience of working in horticulture and seed swapping, and joins us from the delightful Azores tomorrow morning. Debbie Doo's back on Friday talking about the unveiling of the Share and Care Portugal project. Tomorrow night, of course, Paul, who was with me at the beginning of the show, will be doing a full-on deep dive webinar about wealth and financial management with Fiduciary Wealth. Tomorrow night from 7:30. The Wine Club, of course, it's me leading the wine tasting charge with a bottle from the Dow region. I think that's what it's looking like, a bottle from the Dow, a red from the Dow tomorrow night, and the Man Cave on Friday. That's how the rest of the week is looking. Thank you for all of your contributions, whether they be questions or answers today. Hank saying, look, we're still up for this offer, Hank. Looking forward to buying you all a beer in person. Cheers, Saúde, to you. So let's play out with one of Peter's rather marvelous videos. Here we go. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.